Trump's considering pardoning Diddy. Would you support that? I won't. I would not support that. And I couldn't support a president that would pardon such a complete scumbag. I love Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is great, but if he decides to pardon Diddy, that's a deal breaker. I hate to say it, he could do all the good in the world, but to pardon such a prolific criminal is disgusting. Would you support that? Would you support Trump pardoning Diddy? Could you support that? Would you support Trump if he pardoned? How many Trump supporters would support a Diddy pardon? I want to know how many Trump supporters would support a Diddy pardon. I'm a Trump supporter, and I couldn't support that. I could not, in good conscience, back up a Diddy pardon. I couldn't make an excuse for him for that. I had to make enough excuses over this Epstein stuff that would just kind of prove the point that everybody's free thinkers. You know, I'm a free thinker. I think with my mind, and I think, wait a minute. Would you support? Take the poll. Would you support Trump if he pardoned Diddy? If you're a Trump supporter. Now, this is for Trump supporters. This isn't for left-wing Democrats. How many people would support Donald Trump if he pardoned Diddy? If he decided to give Diddy a pardon, would you support Donald Trump? And I'm not talking to left-wing loonies that don't support him anyways. 100% so far. Yeah. And let me know if you're on the right or on the left. See, I'm on the right. You know, I'm a conservative. I consider myself a conservative. But I couldn't do it. Well, are you're not a conservative, correct? You're saying you would support a full Diddy pardon. Diddy didn't do anything, lol. Yeah, yeah, he didn't do anything. That's funny. Yeah, he didn't do anything. And O.J. Simpson was innocent. Good. You're a progressive Republican. Okay, I can roll with that. No, it's not illegal to own a lot of baby oil, but come on, trafficking and it. I mean, come on. Look what they didn't find him guilty for baby oil. They didn't find him guilty for baby oil. They didn't do that. There we go with the race card. No, it's not because he's black. I don't care that he's black. I care that he's a scumbag. There's plenty of white scumbags out there too. Yeah, I was muted for a minute. I had to tend to something. But there's plenty of white scumbags out there too. So it's got nothing to do with just because he's black, he is guilty. I mean, people that say that just want to race bait. Diddy was innocent, bro. Innocent. Yeah, so was OJ. Um, OJ just happened to get away with it. He was proven. Diddy was, yeah. Yeah. That's because his hand. That's because OJ's hand was so swollen from all the beating and choking and. and yeah, the glove didn't fit right. You know, Johnny Cochran. Or what did they call it? What show was that? The Chewbacca defense. I don't know if y'all remember. This is just a question. It's really more of a question. I mean, I see things from a different perspective, and I'm trying to see things. Diddy doesn't deserve all this hate. He's a real innocent real innocent baller. Yeah, we could all see how messed up Bieber was and how terrified that poor kid was to say anything. Yeah, he put Justin Bieber on the map after he put nothing. So he was innocent for dragging that poor girl through the hallway, beating her half to death. Yeah, he's innocent. So innocent. Such an innocent, wonderful man that drags women down through a hallway and then continually beats them. Yeah. Such a great, such a great philanthropist. Diddy is just such a pillar of the fucking community. Excuse my language, but when you're, I mean, I'm not saying the man deserves the death penalty. Jesus, that's not what I'm saying. Charlie Kirk did not want to free Diddy. Are you insane? There is not one video out there of Charlie Kirk ever saying that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a little ridiculous. Yeah, I miss him too. Charlie was a common sense guy. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that one. Yeah, yeah, so innocent. Last time I seen good, decent, innocent people didn't drag women down the hallways while they were screaming, trying to get away. He did not love Diddy like his own brother. What are you talking about, dude? He did not love Diddy like his own brother. My God, man. Are you, dude, Kukesh or Kukish? Kukesh, Deepajit? That's your name? Let me see who you are. Yeah, no, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know how. I don't want to mispronounce people. You know how people are this day and age. You mispronounce their name and you're automatically a racist, bigot, Nazi, fascist. It's just- yeah, I know. Yeah, when I heard about Charlie Kirk, it broke me. It broke me because that man was a free. He would openly debate people. He gave both sides. Nah, Charlie was not a racist at all. Okay, yeah, I'm not. I don't want. But you're misrepresenting Charlie on here, talking about how he loved P Diddy like a brother. No, he did not. My goodness, I could go through every single Charlie Kirk video out there, and you're not gonna find that. Like, oh yeah, yeah, Diddy might have stood up against, but Charlie wasn't all like, oh yeah, Diddy's such a great guy and this, that, and the other. He was never like that. I remember back when I was a kid, I listened to some Diddy music, but that was when Biggie was around. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was a shine. Oh, he was definitely a breath of fresh air to the rest of the world that can't figure out how to pull their own. Well, I'll say it like this: he was a breath of fresh air. You Yeah, and I bet I don't ever find anything that says that they were buddies. Where do you get this idea? Where did you come up with this information that Charlie Kirk and P Diddy were friends and were like brothers? Where did you get this idea? Where does this idea come from? MSNBC, NBC, CNN, um, Blue Sky, because that's ridiculous. They were like buddies. Yeah, no, no. Charlie Kirk and Diddy were not homies, and it's not funny. It's not funny because they were not homies. They didn't kick it. They didn't kick it. You know what I mean? Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk would have never kicked it with Diddy because number one, Charlie Kirk didn't run around kicking it with perverts. Not like that. He didn't run around kicking it with twisted, sick people. Charlie Kirk was a man of decency. He was a man of integrity. Charlie Kirk wouldn't put his integrity out there. And Charlie Kirk said, one of his main things was you can't, evil and good just don't click. Yeah, Charlie Kirk would definitely beat him like Diddy in a debate, but he wouldn't try to hurt people. But people couldn't stand Charlie Kirk. The people that could. I'm sorry, my kind of sick. But the people that couldn't stand Charlie Kirk were the ones that couldn't defeat him verbally in a debate, and they hated him for it. They hated the fact that Charlie Kirk could run circles around them intellectually. Yeah, I feel bad for his kids too. I feel bad for his wife. I feel bad for his kids. I mean, instead of what makes me sick about the whole thing is the fact that he should be reading stories to his kids, not kids reading stories about him. Yes, of course the US media is biased. 100%. All you got to do is watch MSNBC, CNN. Okay, they're they had just had these No Kings protests over here. Now in these No Kings protests, What these clowns don't realize is we haven't had a king since around 1776 when we finally freed ourselves. But in these No Kings protests, these people were running around saying the most hateful, venomous things against President Trump, talking about clipping him and whacking him or whatever. And then they were making horrible comments about Charlie Kirk. And then there was some kid stabbing like this pinata doll of Donald Trump and some grown man fist bumping him. But our media over here decided to get upset about a meme that Trump posted, an AI meme that Trump posted of Trump dressed up as a king, flying over the No Kings rally in an F-16 and dropping crap on him. And the media chose to jump on that one. The media chose to jump on that and say how horrible that was. CNN called it vulgar, but refused, absolutely refused to call what these people were saying at this No Kings rally vulgar. The people that were calling for the death of the president, the people that were making fun of the death of Charlie Kirk, they refused to talk about that. And they call their, and the left, the Democrat left, call themselves the party of tolerance, love, and peace, all the while they're the ones committing all the real violence. It's a fact. It's not some statistic. I'm not sorry. Statistically speaking, it's a fact. You know, if you look at the numbers, it's a fact. They're the ones committing all the violent acts against schools and churches, the majority of them. Now, we had a guy that went into a church and did something horrible, but it was because his mind was twisted and he hated Mormons. So his thing was to go attack Mormons because he thought Mormons were Satan. I'm taking care of my son too, so. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah. What? But yeah, so, I mean, yes, our media is completely biased over here. It's not biased to the right at all. The majority of the networks, 90% of our networks over here, are completely biased on the left. They're all for the left. We have what Fox, the actual what they call legacy network is Fox, and they're in between. But the rest of them, yeah, all you saw was dancing. What am I talking about? Go look up the videos. They weren't just dancing at those No King rallies. And number one, it looked like people were let out of the nursing home instead of giving these people their meds crushed up in butterscotch pudding, they just let them out on the streets. But I've seen the videos. I saw the teacher that got fired for pointing at her neck, making fun of Charlie Kirk. I saw old ladies calling for the death of Donald Trump, calling us on the right fascists and Nazis. Still, and they want us to bring the temperature down. Oh yeah, some liberal teacher, and you could tell. I mean, she looked like the bearded lady, but big. I don't want to say she was a hefty lady, um, but some bearded hefty lady, and she was pointing at her neck like, you know, doing the whole making fun of Charlie Kirk thing. It was disgusting. She lost her job. And it's the left doing stuff like this. You know, when I found out Joe Biden had cancer, the first thing that came to my mind was not to make fun of him, was not to wish harm on him. It was to pray for that man. It was to pray for that man. But that shows where the left is actually at. Yeah, she's still walking around. I mean, she's waddling around because of. I, I, I'm trying not to. You know, when people do crazy stuff like that, it really makes me mad. When they. Oh no, I'm not talking about the witches casting spells on Donald Trump. I'm talking about people that were literally in the street calling for him to get pew-pewed. And, you know, calling for Steve Miller to be pew-pewed. And a kid standing, a kid, they literally had a child out there stabbing at a doll of Donald Trump hanging from a rope, and some grown man fist bumping him like it was a good thing. So the left has completely lost their minds. And I look at things like the mark of the beast. I mean, and I see things in a way like a lot of people think it's going to be some microchip, it's going to be this and that and the other. But if you look at the Shema, if you know anything about scripture, you look at the Shema, and it's all a mindset. It's all in the mind. And these people are definitely marked with the beast. You know, Yeshua said it himself. My sheep will be on the right and the goats would be on the left. So, I mean, I've never seen prophecy fulfilled in such a way that it's clearly blunt and blatantly obvious. I mean, what has been happening in this world is disgusting. These people are sick. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. This is beyond just straight up, this is just beyond TDS. This is demonic. And I try to keep myself together in this, and I want to be a voice of reason, but you cannot reason with evil. You cannot reason with completely corrupted evil. You can't reason with it. He had not he when he got hit, there was no 50-50. It was over the minute that thing struck him. It was over. Lights went the lights went he went dark right at that moment. Okay, let's male. No, there's female goats. Goats and sheep are two different species. Uh, Goats and sheep are two different species. I don't know. I mean, I live around a bunch of farms and stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty much all around animals all the time. Yeah, but it was it was right there. I mean, when that when that when that bullet went in, it went into his spine, and that's what really stopped it. That's what really stopped it was his spine. His spine literally stopped it. You know, from hitting anybody else. I mean, if anything else, God used Charlie as a shield on top of, yeah, Charlie got to go home that day. Charlie got to go home that day. And God also provided the miracle of him being a shield. I'll always talk about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a true American hero. He stood up when everybody else sat down. People don't and that wasn't just a blatant assault on Charlie Kirk. It was a blatant assault on our American free way of life. That was an assault on our Constitution. And if you're a United States citizen and you love our country and you love God, country, Constitution, I'm all about God, family, country in that order. Faith, family, freedom, God, family, country. But I don't know. What happened was disgusting. It was disgusting. No, because we're not like them. We're not like the left. We don't. I'm not. We're not. We're not like the left. We don't react like a bunch of freaking animals. We don't go out in the streets for some criminal scumbag that gets wrongfully and burn down the cities and flip cop cars over and act like a bunch of degenerates. Yeah, I want Diddy to rot. Now, I hope and pray that Trump does not pardon him or even commute his sentence. Either one would be bad for me. But that's just my personal opinion. Other people have their opinions too. And if people are going to be like, "Yep, I'm going to support Trump even if he, pardons Diddy or commutes his sentence." And if people want to do that, they could do that too. I can't. I have this thing called the conscience. And I that would be like me going out and saying Epstein for president. I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. Yeah, I mean, there's recent talk, like just today, recent talk of him considering it. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'd like to get better too. Like I got four young boys that I raise, and I need to get better. But regardless of how sick I get, I still push on and gotta bust ass and do what I gotta do. Not physically, you know what I mean. Get work done and this, that, and the other. He is the devil in South Park. Yeah, I know. I know. I've seen all the South Park stuff, and how Garrison became Trump and all this, that, the other. That was wild. I mean, I got a sense of humor. There's certain things that just don't bother me, but I'm kind of glad to see all these people losing their jobs that were ripping on Charlie Kirk and saying all these horrible things about him. And then the next thing you know, they're losing their jobs and then they're complaining about their freedom of speech. Like, when did the First Amendment matter anything to them when they use bullets to silence ours? Semper Fi. Always respect the U.S. Marines. Most badass ass kicking people around. Oh yeah, I've heard of George Carlin. I know who George Carlin is. Of course, I know who George Carlin is. Now, a lot of the younger generation probably don't know who the hell George Carlin is, but I'm up there, so. But I'm sorry about your loss with your dad, man. You're talking about your dad, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, but you know what? He was a Marine, so he was a kick-ass dude. I can tell you right now. Yeah, they try to silence it, but we can't back down because if we back down, then these people are okay. What other type of people use fear tactics to make people do what they want or to get their way? Terrorists. So when people support the execution of those who are using their free speech or the execution of politicians they don't agree with or policies that they might not agree with, but instead of going to the voting booths or going to the polls, they use bullets and violence. The other type, there's Al Qaeda, the Taliban, ISIL. They use tactics like that too. So I'm these people. these Antifa or these trans Antifa or whatever the heck these fruitcakes want to call themselves nowadays, whatever new name they want to give themselves, they're terrorists. And I honestly wish we could treat them as such. Literally treat them as such. I really do. Legally. But since we can't do that legally, we do the next best thing. Expose them for who they are, what they are, and hopefully at the end of the day, yeah, they don't lose their lives by us. Now the difference between the conservatives and these loonies on the left is it if we don't agree with something they say or they say something horrific or do something that we don't like. See, Charlie never said anything horrific. He just spoke the truth and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. The left couldn't handle it. But the thing we do, we go after their livelihoods. We don't take their lives, we just take their livelihoods. No, it's not an actual. Antifa isn't a real organization. Really? Oh, technically not an organization, but it's a group. It's a group of people that get together under the banner of communism, claiming to be anti-fascist. They say we're anti-fascist, but they're a bunch of commies. Sorry, I misrepresented what I was trying to say. They're a bunch. Yes, they're an organization. They're a group. They're just a splinter group, I would call them. They come out of the wood. They come out of the woodwork. They come out of the woodwork like a bunch of cockroaches at night. The cancel culture. Here we go. Okay, the big difference is you people on the left take people's lives when you don't like what they have to say. Big difference. Don't go there. Don't go there because I will run circles you. Like literally. The master. All right, let me see something. Let me look at you. Let me guess. Let's see. Joined 13 years ago, 92, so okay. Been on here for 13 years, huh, AJ? Sound bites? Dumbhead, I'm not on either side. Watching the Great American Shit Show. Oh, that's what this is, huh? There's people's lives at stake here. You're not on either side. It's called freedom of speech. If you don't like something, then speak with your mouth and don't use force or violence to speak. Yeah, exactly. And that's what the left does. The left uses violence. The left uses violence. No, if I wanted to run an OSINT on you, and I know what you're speaking of. I know what you're speaking of, dude. I use Kali Linux, I use Parrot OS, I use Black Arch. I wanted to do that. Oh, you're a cybersecurity guy. Good for you. I don't need to, man. I'm not all into that. I don't care. I was just seeing how long your channel was going for, man. What are you, freelance? You do freelance work? I mean, I'm all for the cybersecurity community. Yeah, Follow the honeypot. Yeah, I know the honeypots, what they get stuck in. Yeah, I know all about those things, man. I've been around for some time now, like on the planet. But people would talk more about. Yeah. Where am I from? The good old U.S. of A. Felon Trump, yeah. He's not going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I wish I was 23. Oh, damn, I wish I was 23. Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they have them days back. Ooh, wait. Maybe my ticker would be better off. He's not going to pardon her. He's not going to pardon her. I'm surprised she's still alive. Let me be honest with you. But it is what it is. But yeah, this whole Diddy thing has got my mind like, are you serious? No, not 42. Not 42, I wish. Oh, state? NC. Well, originally Detroit, Michigan. And then I left the zoo. And I moved south. Yeah, NC. Oh, my home was getting raided accidentally, and it happened like 3 times where they were trying to go to a house, like three or four houses like to the left of me, and the next thing you know, my door's getting kicked in the middle of the night, and I got gang squad and the narcotics units busting in, and then they say, "Oops." Like, are you all gonna pay for my door? Well, you'll have to contact the city hall and this, that, and the other. And of course, they never fixed anything. But it's Detroit we were talking about there, so they're not gonna fix much. What planet do I live on? Oh, I live on Coal Lab. Sorry, that was a Mormon joke. Yeah, I live on Mars too. No, the Alpha Centauri system. No, I don't know. I sit back and think how good things could actually be, and how much they're not. And I'd like to have a better world for my children to grow up in. I mean, I'm not saying the world was so great back when I was a kid, but hey, the street lights, the street lights were the sign. Hey, it's time to come home. And we all knew these things. Nowadays, you gotta pretty much put a GPS around your kid's ankle because some freaking pervert wants to snatch him up and sell him. Or worse. Things. I don't know how things could get worse than that, but they have. And you got people like Diddy out there in this world that people. No, you can't see kids walking around. If they were walking around, it'd be somebody in an unmarked ice cream truck ready to snatch them up. Yep, definitely. That's why I named my channel Free Man Church because it was like weeks before she come out and started talking about his name at the medal ceremony. Me and my wife were sitting there talking. I said, I'm gonna do this. I can't name my channel Charlie Kirk, but I can name it Free Man Church because that's what his name actually means. Charlie means free man or warrior. So I just went with the free man. And then church is Kirk. Smoking what? I don't do drugs. I do smoke cigarettes, sadly. I wish I didn't. He probably did sell his soul to the devil. I mean, let's just be honest. You can't do half the stuff you do and be a decent. People are like, oh, he's such a good guy. Diddy's such a good guy. Diddy's such a good guy. And I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Diddy's not a good guy. Diddy's like lower than whale crap, and it don't get much lower than that because that's all the way at the bottom of the ocean. Oh no problem. I get it. You might have said you might have meant smoking cigarettes. I could have been the one jumping to conclusions. So hey, we don't need to go there, man. We're good. everything is fine and dandy like Christmas candy. This is love and peace and all types of chicken grease and whatever. I'm just not a big fan of the left. Yeah, Diddy's a good guy. Yeah, so is Charles Manson, if that's the case. No, I get it. Oh no, I've been a believer for years. God has, I'll tell you what, my faith has brought me out of a lot. Yeah, I still smoke cigarettes and I might use a few choice words every now and then, but from where I was to where I am now, that's that's the Lord. Well, yeah, some whales can't eat their own poop. That is true. Yeah, I try to stay on people's good sides too, but I have a tendency to say stupid things. Well, not stupid things, just things that people don't agree with, and I have this tendency to say them in a way that might be completely just not PC. And like I had multiple TikTok accounts that were banned. I'd get to about 10,000, and then the next thing you know, I'm banned because I had things to say, when they were trying to groom our children, and they still are trying to groom our children. And my kids, I'm training my kids to be ungroomable. But yeah, I got on there and had a lot of things to say about a certain group of people that were out there trying to groom children to thinking that they're this, that, and the other. And I told them, well, I identify as an ice cream turkey sandwich. I used to make skits and parody videos and stuff like that, and I got banned too many times, and I just got sick of it. So I learned to put a harness on my tongue. I put a bridle on my tongue. Try to steer it in a different direction, but sometimes there's that special kind of stupid out there that just draws that out of me. And oh yeah, 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 because they'll call you a racist if you don't like the color red, because they'll automatically assume you got a certain group with their algorithms that would automatically assume you're talking about Native Americans or something like that, or people from south of the border. And I'm like, dude, I got people that are from Mexico that are my friends. They came here legally, but You mean teach my kids? No, I'm training my kids. I'm teaching them. You have to literally train. I'm training my kids up. I'm training them. They're literally in training. I'm not even gonna lie. My kids are in training. I train my kids. I got a lot of wolves behind me. I'm teaching them, but I'm also training them to be efficient. I'm training them to. There's certain things I just can't say. But yeah, okay, we'll use the word teaching. Teaching is a more friendly word. We're all the color of wheat. That's funny. Nick Fuentes. Yeah, okay. And then what about Milo? Milo was supposed to come back. And then the next thing you know, he drops that magic word. He drops the Paula Deen word that, that the word no, we shall not say, but gets said in every freaking rap album on the face of the planet. But God forbid the wrong person says that word. And the next thing you know, he's canceled again. I honestly think that Milo Yiannopoulos, I think he knew what Milo's too smart to say something like that. Oh yeah, or they think you're a Nazi, yeah. But I think Milo Yiannopoulos was smart enough to know that if he said that magic word, no matter how many times he said Kanye gave him a free pass, the minute he said the magic word, it was over for him. I think he wanted to come back, and then I think he decided, you know what? I don't need the smoke. Look what happened to Charlie here. I'm going to go out with an explosion and just use the magic word that nobody can say, and bam. I'm not saying I want. See, there you go, putting words in my mouth. I didn't say I wanted to say the N word. I just think he went that road on purpose because he knew that he didn't want the smoke of doing what Charlie did anymore. He didn't want the smoke of doing what he used to do anymore. Okay, that's this guy. Yeah, Charlie had more brain. Charlie had more of a brain. Charlie had better. Anywho, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, because I don't think Milo wanted the smoke. I don't think Milo wanted the smoke. So I think he pulled a Paula Deen. Wow. Impulsive, yeah. Impulsive Alan, yeah, okay. Epstein. Nah. Wow. It's not, there's no obvious to it. There's no obvious to it. I mean,